What is the best thing to say to someone to subtly frick with their head? I think my favorite is giving passwords over the phone. I use the proper NATO phonetic alphabet, except for Q. It's Q as in cucumber. Wait, what? Cucumber starts with a C. Oh, no, I meant a regular cucumber, not a sea cucumber. Hello, father. When at a dinner party, ask someone a question just after they have put food in their mouth. They do the obligatory fast chew and point at mouth laugh nervously while finishing chewing before answering the question. Then, ask them another question as they put the next mouthful in their mouth. And again, and again. Username checks out. Just say remember me from a long time ago if they say no. Just smile and say think about it, smile and walk away. This happened to me once a few years ago and I am still confused. I like to use figures of speech that don't exist, followed by you know what I'm saying? You can't make a fruit salad if you don't have any peaches. You know what I'm saying? More often than not, people get really confused and just agree. Whenever my boss Dave walks by I always slide yeah but don't let Dave catch you doing that into the conversation. Hahaha hilarious. It fricks with Dave and your coworker. I'm a stockbroker and work in a fairly open floor. Next to me and company worker there is this giant whiteboard. We decided it would be fun if we just started writing names on the board. Then we started putting lines through the names. Then we started erasing names and writing new ones. People would come up and ask confused, scared, curious why is my name up there or what's that list for? To which one of us always replied oh, you'll find out when it's time. What would you change about yourself, apart from the obvious? That's absolutely savage. I had a friend who would always say wake up in a very urgent voice randomly throughout the day. Then when questioned would look at you like you're crazy for hearing things. It got to a fricked up point where he would write it in the steam on mirrors, so that the next time I had a shower and steamed up the mirror again it would tell me to wake up without him even being there. He'd steal my school books and write it on the back page so when I finally reached the back page weeks later it would tell me to wake up. RLY fricked with my head for a bit until he recruited other people to do it who weren't so good at keeping a straight face. Every now and then when I go to the store from work I'll say, I'm going to Wawa, do you want anything? Once in a blue moon I'll say, I'm going to the bathroom, do you want anything? Every time they don't expect it. No matter what they say, after they tell you a story anecdote especially involving somebody else, always just say that's not the way I heard it. Every single time the story will then change, sometimes minor but sometimes completely. Cop here. I'm going to start doing this to other officers telling war stories about how big a guy was or how many there were. When my dad played tennis in high school, he would ask his competitors right before a match, do you breathe in or out when you serve? As a tennis player that's funny as frick. I just wanted to let you know that everyone likes you. Don't worry. An old co-worker of mine used to end most conversations with you know I don't care what anybody else says about you. Not spoken but written. When someone parks and take up 2 or 4 parking spots, I always leave them a little note that says something along the lines of, hey, sorry about your truck. I drive a smaller car and thought I could park in beside you but didn't quite make it. My buddy says you should be able to buff the scratches out with wax from AutoZone and that the damage is less than $100 so there is no reason for me to leave my information. Good luck. I have done this a few times and sit back to watch as some guy comes out, reads the note on his windshield, and spends 20 minutes walking around his truck or car trying to figure out where the scratch is. Start off any conversation with another late night. Makes any person think they look haggard. That's my secret, I'm always haggard. I dare you when there is no preconceived notion of any peril. Hey man, can I get a beer? Sure, they are in the fridge. Go grab one. I dare you. Go to sleep. I dare you. Eat your lunch. I dare you. Blink your eyes. I dare you. Go on Reddit. I dare you. Freaking creepy. Thanks. Air quotes. Just randomly throw air quotes into any conversation. It really makes people uncomfortable. When you're talking to someone you just look at their ear or slightly just past their head whilst you make conversation. I know it's not something you say but it consistently works in making them wonder WTF you're looking at. Meet my eyeline, Jim. Nice to see you again to someone you just met for the first time. I once met a guy 6 times before remembering him, so every time I said nice to meet you he would just laugh. I didn't get the joke but I awkwardly laughed too. Then, the 6th time, I went oh crap we've done this before. He just looked at me blankly for like 15 seconds and then went oh my god all this time you weren't joking. When I was about 9, my family would go to Bob's Big Boy after church. I was in there washing my hands before we ate, as my parents always made me wash my hands before any meal. I am in the bathroom and I was getting some hand soap and then a toilet flushes and someone says I think you should remember this. And so I have, all these years. I am hoping it becomes useful later on. Mysterious toilet flusher, otherwise I would have remembered it for nothing. You still have my trust. I will carry this a little longer. You don't understand. This was the reason you remembered it. For that sweet karma. I was substitute teaching at an elementary school. Some random 3rd grade girl walked up to me and whispered wake up daddy, and then went back to her class. My jimmies were sufficiently rustled. When someone calls you by the phone, answer the phone by saying hello. I would like to speak with Alex. They will think you were the one who called them and they will tell you you called the wrong number and then they hung up on you. A few seconds later, they will start going nuts. I wonder if that would work on telemarketers. We played a game at college. We would walk by groups of people and say the second half of a weird sentence in passing. Winner was the person who most likely ruined someone's day with unanswered questions. Passing by a stranger, comma and yeah, that was the last time I showered with my dad. Or, comma so there I am, face down, but naked in the woods. That's certainly an interesting way to do it. So that's why it turns out that way when you do it. That's a brave look. A white guy in a bar in Shanghai 2 years ago randomly told me that this year would be the worst year of my life. I don't believe in that crap but frick that guy cause it definitely got in my head. You should do this by putting on a suit, carrying a small briefcase and acting as serious and professional as possible. Then leave the bar once you spoke to that one guy. Keep telling them their secret is safe with you. If you see them from across the room, just smile, wink and tap the side of your nose. Sorry about yesterday. Give no context. None at all. I used to teach high school choir, and one day a classroom messenger came into my women's choir class to deliver a message, stopped, sniffed, and said who's on their period before walking out. It was pandemonium. Girls were crying. It was awful and hilarious. Anytime they need to write down a number, oh sorry, that's supposed to be an uppercase 7. My number is 5, 5, 5, 3, 8, 16. When my wife says don't worry about it. Are you sure? Hate it when people do that to me. A guy I knew in college would ask me this after almost any statement I made and then proceed to Google fact check me in front of me. I was always right and it drove me up a freaking wall. You look better than usual. I got this during my prom. Whoa, you actually look pretty today. Frick you too. 17 years old, new guy at my job that I would have for 8 years. One co-worker told me, don't take anything anyone says around here seriously, including that last sentence. Sent me into an existential crisis. I like to comment on a friend's group pictures of her and her friends and say something like wow, you 3 look amazing when there are 4 of them in the picture. That's subtly fricking with 4 people's heads in one go. Is that in metric seconds? I've told my boyfriend he says the word toilet funny. Occasionally when he says it I just repeat it back to him incredulously. He is adamant that he's saying it correctly, which he is, and it really fricks with his head when I say maybe he's hearing it different to how it's coming out. I thoroughly enjoy this game. For about 3 or 4 years I pronounced disconnected like disconnected to my girlfriend, and refused to admit I was saying it weird. You'll be amazed how something so simple can start to drive someone nuts. I would always ask my old roommate, have you seen our toothbrush? Never mind, I think I left it next to our fleshlight. New cousin will just walk up to you if he hasn't seen you in a while, give you a firm handshake and tell you congratulations, then nothing else. Back when I was doing stand-up, A bunch of comics would just say, "Nice set," before you even went on that night. It was meant to be facetious and we just laugh it off with each other, but then as soon as you walk away you start thinking about how all the time someone said you had a nice set, and whether they ever really meant it. Then you start contemplating whether what you're doing on stage is even good comedy, and maybe you'll never truly find your voice. Then 10 years later you die of an overdose. While at a urinal. Nice watch. My buddy always says ooh, water's cold after he unzips in a stall, no matter how full the bathroom is. I got him back after the 4th time he did this by saying on the surface maybe, but it's pretty warm at the bottom. We need to talk. Anxiety triggered. I used to know a guy that would tell people nice teeth. No matter how confident they were in their teeth, it automatically made them self-conscious. They couldn't help but wonder if there was something wrong with their teeth. My brother always says nice eyebrows while glancing up at people's foreheads. Makes me laugh every time. In golf, a massive jerk move would be to say something like, "Do you always grip it so strong with your left hand it can ruin their swing for the rest of the round?" Thinking about it. Anything with their stance works the same way. You don't have to say anything. Just look at their hair or hairline a tiny bit longer than you normally would. Widen your eyes slightly, then quickly glance away. Sneak a couple more quick looks during the unrelated conversation. Make it seem like you're trying not to look. If they ask you if something is wrong with their hair, say that nothing is wrong, as unconvincingly as possible. I was at a party with a friend, and when he was just about to go upstairs with a girl, I told him think about me. He came back 10 minutes later with a furious look. That's when you reply with "I always do, comma." Tell someone we need to talk. Go as long as you can without seeing them to talk. Then when you see them just say it doesn't matter anymore. You made your choice. Give them a pat on the back, a fake smile, and walk away. This would make me pull my hair out. Thanks for watching. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day, you magnificent people.